Today, I'm going to talk about Haruki Murakami's 1Q84. It's the second book in my Haruki Murakami introduction. I picked 3 books to read. The first one I read was Norwegian Wood, which I thought was alright. Not great, it was just alright. And then the second one I've read is 1Q84, and the last one I'm going to read is Kafka on the Shore. I fear I may have chosen poorly. I'm going to spoil things. I can't talk about this novel without spoiling things. So if you want to know nothing at all, maybe stop watching now. I'm going to try and not spoil too many turns in it, but I can't talk about this novel without mentioning certain plot points. It is a mammoth novel. It's sort of 3 books that were released individually, I think across like 3 years, something like that. And in 2011, all 3 of them were put together and translated into this 1,200 page beast of a book. The reason I picked it is I wanted to do something. I picked Norwegian Wood to read first because it felt like it was the most straightforward of Haruki Murakami's novels, not that much surrealist stuff going on, in fact none at all. I picked this one because I was like, well, it's epic, let's see what his epic literature is like. And then the third one I've picked, Kafka on the Shore, I picked that because I thought it might be like one of his most wacky and surreal ones. So we start with Amame. She is in the back of a taxi cab and she is waiting to go kill someone. And the taxi driver tells her there's a big gridlock, you can't get off, but you can take this exit at the side of the motorway. But if you take this exit, beware, because things may change. And as Almame takes the exit and she goes down the stairs, she starts noticing the world seems a little different, and thus begins her entry into 1Q84. Tengo, on the other hand, he is a maths tutor, maths teacher, and a writer. A sort of hobbyist writer who is practicing his craft. And with the help of an editor friend of his from a magazine that he sometimes writes for, he takes a manuscript from a young girl and sort of brushes it up, makes it better in the aims to release it as if this 17-year-old girl had written it herself. And they're hoping to make loads of money off of the fact that they can sort of market the idea that this surreal, incredible novel, this little novella, was written by a 17-year-old. And thus enters Tengu? Oh, why am I forgetting it? His journey into this story. And as the story progresses, we start to see sort of slow overlaps of Amame's and Tengo's sort of stories and how they sort of come together and crisscross and things like that. And that's kind of it. It involves a cult. It involves some surrealist aspects, some people called the little people. Anything else plot-wise? No, not really. I'm just going to come out and say it. This book was very, very bad. Very, very bad. Sometimes bigger is not always better. And in this case, wow. There were moments where I was like, I'm really enjoying this. This story is getting cooking. This story is starting to sort of progress. I've been given lots of time with these characters. I feel like I really know these characters. I know what's driving them. Yeah, this is, and it just goes nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And it repeats itself constantly. Like in the 3rd book, a character comes in, a private investigator, and his role is literally finding out things we have already been told in the first 2 books, but discovering nothing new. Like, I couldn't believe what I was reading. He is literally going and finding out information that the reader's been told, whilst discovering nothing to add to the story whatsoever. What he finds out and what he gathers doesn't progress the narrative or the plot in any way. My jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it. I was like, we have spent hundreds of pages going over stuff we already know. Like, what is going on? Now, I don't know if something was lost in the translation, if maybe some of the repetitive nature of this book is because of that translation, but I don't know. It's so bad. It's really bad. And we're going to talk about the one thing that actually makes it kind of terrible, and the misogyny in it is just insane. I have never heard characters talk about their breasts so much. Now, I thought Norwegian Wood, the characters were a little too focused on their breasts and physical appearance. This, Almame as a character, her one chief concern in life is the fact that her breasts are too small and that they're kind of sort of one's bigger than the other. And she talks about it constantly. I'm not joking, constantly. Nearly most scenes with her in it, she will mention her breasts, and it is pointless. It does nothing to serve the story whatsoever. This could have been maybe a really, really fun 400-page book to 500-page book. There is so much that you could strip out of this book. She has a relationship with a female police officer, and what they do together adds nothing to the story. Nothing. Like that character, the character maybe gives her one small piece of information that she could have found out in a million different ways. It adds nothing to the story whatsoever. That character could have gone. All the mention, you could strip every mention of breasts out of this and you would save 100 pages. I can't believe I know I listened to it on audiobook and I can't believe I stuck with it. I did it mainly because I set myself this challenge. I've got nothing good to say about this book. Every moment, every glimmer of hope I had for this book, every time I felt like the story was really building, we were kind of, the magical realism in it was kind of layering on top of each other, and I was like, yes, we're getting somewhere. This novel is becoming something. Let's go! But it wouldn't. It just stopped. I mean, again, I'm going to go into full spoilers. The last part of this book is just two characters, sort of one stuck in their room, the other stuck in a sort of in another room, and they're just thinking about each other, and nothing is happening. Nothing is driving it, and it ends so badly. It ends in a, I don't know. I won't ruin the ending, but please don't do this book. I chose badly. So far, I am not very impressed with Haruki Murakami in general. Norwegian Wood I thought was good, but nowhere near what people had, hyped it up to be. And this book is an absolute car crash. I hope I'm not alone. I don't think I'm. I feel like I'm being very, very harsh right now. Like really harsh. Like recording this and putting it out in the world and just being mean. But I don't get it. I just don't get it. It had, I really liked elements of it. I liked the Amame that she was an assassin, that she only killed people who were bad, who were women beaters or sexual abusers, and I felt that was a really good drive to her character. And I felt like we got so much information about them. I mean, what's great is 1,200 pages. We bloody should have a well-rounded, a well-rounded character. And the two main characters in this, and even the side characters, were incredibly well-rounded. They were very rich and very detailed. Just a shame that the female protagonist, her chief concern was just things to do with her body, which was pathetic. It was stupid. It's just stupid. I'm going to give this book 0.5 stars out of 5. It is the worst book I've read in 2022, without a doubt. I thought Treacle Walker, that has been shortlisted for the Booker Prize, I thought that was a bad book. I really dislike that book. That was a joy to read compared to this. Yeah, and I welcome people to argue the novel's case in the comments. I really do. And if you really, really enjoyed this, that's great. I'm pretty sure you might have latched onto the things that I really enjoyed, and they just did a little bit more for you. But everything I enjoyed just never went anywhere. So I was left really, really deflated after this one. I was really, yeah, I was gutted. I was like, I can't believe I committed this amount of time to it. I can't. It's a 45-hour audiobook. I listen at times too, so 22 and a half hours of my life. I'm not getting back. God damn. Oh well. I'm sorry. I do apologise. This review is not my best work. It's sort of late in the evening and I'm just ranting at a camera. But I don't know what else to do when reviewing this book than rant about it. I can talk about, I thought it was really well written, the prose, it was an audiobook, but the sort of the flow of the passages, the way the dialogue was handled, I thought all these things were really good. I think Haruki Murakami is a good writer. I really do. I just don't understand some of the absolutely mind-boggling decisions and the ways that he chooses to write women just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Um, and yeah, and at times, as you can tell, made me angry. Anyway, I'm definitely not getting any new fans from this video. This review is somewhat of a car crash. But I'm gonna put it up anyway. Thank you very much for watching. Yet again, as always, let me know your thoughts and feelings on whatever book I talk about in the comments below. And if your opinion if you wildly disagree with me, that's absolutely great. Let's have a chat. Anyway, thanks for watching.